All right, viewers, welcome. Welcome. Let's let everybody chime in. Let's let everybody get on. We're going to talk about Trump's tax plan. We're going to wait a little bit, let everybody know, share this video. All my tax clients for many years, many years, I'm doing a video tonight about Trump's tax plan. So now's the time to share the video, log on. I know you see me go live a lot, and you'll continue to see me go live a lot, spreading the gospel. But I want you to also to know about Trump's new tax plan and how it's going to affect your taxes this year. So we're going to wait just a tad bit. I'm going to wait about a minute or so and let everybody log in before we get going, before I do my formal introduction. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like our business page, okay? Remember to book your appointment online. Link will be in the description. Okay, it will be in the title. All right, so I am Landon Perkins. I am the founder and principal owner of Fast Track Tax Services, Fast Track Financial Group. Okay, that's me. I'm a P10 tax professional with the National Directory of Registered Tax Return Preparers and Professionals. Okay, so I am. I am a licensed tax accountant. I specialize in business services. I specialize in income taxation. I specialize in tax preparation. Okay. I specialize in financial accounting. Okay. So welcome to Fast Track Tax Services. All right. So I want to talk to you guys about Donald Trump's new tax plan and how it's going to affect you guys' taxes. Okay. We got to discuss this. We got to discuss how the new tax plan will affect your taxes this year coming up in 2025. This is important. So Donald Trump has been elected as the new president-elect. He will be the new president, sworn into office by January 1st. I'm sorry, January the 20th. January the 20th, Donald Trump will be the president of the United States. And by him being the president of the United States, he has ushered in a tax plan. Okay? He's ushered in a tax plan. And always remember, guys, real quick, to keep your faith in the blood of Christ, trust in his death, burial, and resurrection for your sins according to the scriptures. Okay? Donald Trump has ushered in his tax plan. All right? And he has a lot of proposals in his tax plan. And more than likely, his agenda with his tax plan will be pushed through. If you're unfamiliar, if you don't know, the Republicans did a full sweep on the ticket. The Republicans run the presidency. The Republicans won the House of the Senate, the House of Representatives, and also the Senate. Okay, it's all Republicans. So more than likely, 9 times out of 10, whatever tax agenda Donald Trump put together, I'm pretty sure it's going to pass the House and the Senate. Okay, the House and the Senate. So this is why I'm going live tonight to tell you about his proposed agenda and how it's going to affect your taxes, because this proposed agenda will probably be the agenda. All right. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page tonight, and I want to help you get a big refund this year. I want to make sure that your taxes are legitimate and you are getting everything that's due to you. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do, I want to tell you about how we affect it and what's going to affect us all. Okay. One thing that we truly like credits. Okay. So one of the things in Donald Trump's agenda is the child tax credit. Okay. The child tax credit. The child tax credit, or is known as CTC. Okay. The child tax credit, when it comes to the child tax credit, in order for you to receive the child tax credit, okay, you have to meet certain requirements. And the main requirement, without me getting to a whole deep study on it, the child must be 16 years or older. I'm sorry, younger. 16 years and younger. Okay. If the child is 17, your child do not qualify for the child tax credit. Okay? If your child is 17, your child does not qualify for the child tax credit. Your child must be 16 years or younger. So if your child is 16, you qualify for the child tax credit. If your child turns 17 this year in 2024, you do not qualify for the child tax credit. Okay? If your child turns 17 any day between January 1st and December 31st, any day of the year 2024, if your child turns 17, you no longer qualify for the child tax credit. Okay? Just want to make sure we're clear on that. Last year, the child tax credit was 2,000 bucks. Okay? 2,000 bucks. 2,000 bucks was the limit amount. However, in Donald Trump's new agenda, in his new proposal, the child tax credit could increase to $5,000. All right? So that's a $3,000 bump up per each child this year. So when you go to someone and they file your taxes and you notice that your refund is higher than last year, do not think that it's the tax preparer or the accountant that's doing that. No, not at all. What happened was Donald Trump in his new tax plan for the child tax credit, any child that's 16 years old or younger will qualify for the $5,000 child tax credit. That's a proposal, okay? That's the proposal. So that's already a big bump right there, just alone. So if you have three kids, that's 15,000. That's 15,000 with just three kids. Three kids is 15,000 versus last year, three kids was 6,000. See the difference? This is the proposal, okay? This is the agenda that Donald Trump is proposing. It hasn't been written into law, but like I said, the Republicans won the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And there's a high probability that this tax plan, when it comes to the children, the child tax credit being raised up to 5,000 is highly likely. Okay, so take advantage of that new tax plan. I hope we're excited to hear more about this, but let's keep going. Another thing in Donald Trump's tax plan and his agenda is that he wants to completely get rid of Social Security benefits. He wants to completely get rid of Social Security benefits, period. No more Social Security benefits. No more. No more paying taxes on your Social Security benefits. No more. That will be a wrap. Donald Trump's tax plan allows for Social Security benefits to pay no more taxes. You pay no more taxes on the Social Security benefits in the Donald Trump's tax plan in his new agenda. So we got to make sure that we keeping up with this because, again, Donald Trump, the Republicans did a full sweep. They won the presidency, they won the House of Representatives, and they won the Senate. Okay, so more than likely, Donald Trump's tax agenda will flow through Congress. Very simple and very easily. Okay, and we should soon see the $5,000 per child tax credit. Okay, another thing. Here's another thing. Donald Trump also wants to issue a caregiver credit. A caregiver credit. All right. Donald Trump wants to issue what's called a caregiver credit. Now, here's what that means so you can understand. So that way you ain't got to keep running game, lying and running game and, saying this and this and that. Caregiver credit is for the person who takes care of their mom and dad or some any loved one, right? Maybe they're ill or anything. They're taking care of them without getting paid. Okay? So if you take care of your mom, you take care of your dad, and you're not getting paid, your mom is elderly or your mom is sick or just a loved one. It doesn't have to be your parents, right? You'll qualify for the caregiver credit under Donald Trump's tax plan. All right. Now, I don't know the amount, but what I've seen proposed that this caregiver credit can range all the way up to $5,000 for the caregiver. So Donald Trump was very adamant about caregivers being taken care of. Okay. So in his tax plan, the caregiver credit will be strictly for those who take care of their mom and dad or somebody that they love, their loved ones in their family, and they're not getting paid for it. Okay? That's the caregiver credit. Now that credit again can range up to $5,000. So we already at a total of, if we got three children and we're caregiving for someone, we already in the range already of $20,000. $20,000 already. Just that fast. Just that fast. For with the additional caregiver credit. Man, I'm liking this, y'all. I'm really liking Donald Trump's tax plan. I'm really liking what he's proposing and what he's doing. So let's see here. Let me pull up his other one here. I don't have it by memory, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. Feel free to comment. Now, here's another thing that Donald Trump is implementing. Here's another thing that Donald Trump is implementing in his tax plan and his agenda. You probably want to really listen to this, especially if you are a hospitality worker or a restaurant worker. Watch this. There will be no taxes for your tips that you make. None. If you're a hospitality worker, if you're a restaurant worker, and you make your tips, normally you will have to report your tips to your to the owner, and then those tips will be allocated over to your earned income, and then you're taxed on it. Okay, but under Donald Trump's new tax plan, oh no, he says no taxes paid on the tips you make. If you're a hospitality worker or if you are a restaurant worker, receiving tips in what you do. Absolutely no tip, no taxes for tips. Isn't that amazing? Some people will, some people make, $5,000 to $10,000 in tips a year. Some 5,000, right? So if you a restaurant worker and you made an additional for the entire year, $3,000 in tips. You can add that to your refund because you're not being taxed on that $3,000. No tax, none at all. So that's pretty good. No tips will be taxed for anybody who works in a restaurant or a hospitality worker. No, it will not be taxed at all. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't report it. It's not taxed. Okay? When I say don't report it, I mean don't tell your boss to take taxes out of your tips because it's not taxed. It's not taxed. Now, another thing in Donald Trump's tax plan and its agenda, you're probably gonna like this because a lot of clients that come to my office, they get hit all the time because of their overtime. They pay a lot of taxes in their overtime, but under Donald Trump's tax plan, which again, the Republicans has won the presidency. The Republicans has won the House of Representatives. The Republicans won Senate. So the Republicans has won the whole situation. All right. So 9 out of 10, Donald Trump's tax plan, what I'm telling you tonight, will probably go through. Okay. And one of the things that will go through that I'm really excited about for y'all is overtime. overtime wages will not be taxed. All right. So you going to work and you making overtime hours, those overtime hours will not be taxed. Okay? My law enforcement officers, my public servant figures who do a lot of overtime, guess what? Those overtime wages will not be taxed. That's just your money to the maximum. No taxes at all. There will be no taxation for overtime pay or overtime wages under Donald Trump's new tax plan. Simple as that. Some of y'all have $30,000, $40,000 in overtime, $20,000, $25,000 in overtime pay, but you have to pay taxes on it, right? $25,000 taxes on that, you're looking at about $4,000. You get to keep that. You get to keep that. That's something to be happy about. You go to work all that time, especially the workaholics. Oh, you work hard. You work 140 hours a day. 140 hours a day, and those overtime hours will not be taxed. That's something to look forward to. Okay? So let's do a little small recap before we continue. Under Donald Trump's tax plan, okay, the child tax credit will rise an additional $3,000, going from $2,000 per child to $5,000 per child. Remember, this is just a proposal, okay? It isn't in the books just yet, okay? So if you have 3 kids, that means each kid that is under the age of, that is 16 years old and younger, those kids could qualify at $5,000 a piece. So if you got 3 children, that's $15,000 in credits alone. 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 Which gives you a $15,000 tax credit. And if you're a caregiver, meaning that you took care of some loved ones or your parents, when you didn't get paid for it, Donald Trump saying, in my new tax plan, we're going to take care of you and give you a caregiver credit. Now, it's been proposed that caregiver credit should be about $5,000. So we're going to put down what the proposal is, $5,000, right? So we already at $20,000 in credit alone under Donald Trump's tax plan. Just that fast. It's nothing I did. It's nothing your accountant did or your tax preparer. So don't let them say, oh, I got you this. They didn't get you nothing. Donald Trump changed the law that allowed kids to be up to $5K per kid. That's who did it. All right. So we talked about the child tax credit. We talked about the caregiver credit. We talked about not being taxed on Social Security benefits, none at all. Zero, 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 okay? No taxes for tips. That's for your restaurant workers, hospitality workers, no restaurant, hospitality workers. All right? You people won't have to pay taxes on your tips. Your tips, you get to keep that. You get to keep it. Zero taxes. Okay? Now, when I say tips, I'm not talking about, exotic dancers or things like that. No, that's earned income. I'm talking about strictly hospitality workers or restaurant workers who actually receive tips in that form. Okay? That's exactly what I mean by tips. Now, let me write this on the board. Here's something new. Let me see if my blue pen will work because we need to know this. And we're going to get to the business owners in just a second. But I want you to know this, okay? When it comes to Donald Trump's new tax agenda, we have a new, okay, I can't write it in blue. I got to write it in red. Well, wait a minute. It look like it might work. It look like it might work. We have a new itemized tax deduction. We have a new itemized tax deduction, okay? You should really be screenshotting this. Viewers, this is your time to ask questions. This time, you have a new itemized tax deduction, and that tax deduction is in the form of auto insurance. So the auto interest that you pay on your vehicle, you can deduct on your taxes. You can deduct your auto loan interest when you buy your car, the auto loan interest part of it, the interest part of it, when you finance it, you can deduct it on your taxes. And when you deduct it on your taxes, it brings down your tax liability. Your tax liability has been brought down. And when your tax liability is brought down, your refund goes up. Okay? So if your tax liability goes down, then your refund goes up. That's what we want. So under Donald Trump's new tax plan, he said, hey, man, I'm going to give y'all a new itemized deduction. And that deduction is writing off the auto loan interest on your car. Now, a lot of people have been doing that anyway, which is illegal. A lot of people who really isn't knowledgeable of the tax laws, they just, guys, let me tell you something. Anybody can prepare your taxes. If you go online, you will see to get a P10, it's $19. No schooling required, no education required, no nothing. If all they have to do, anybody, all they have to do is go to the IRS website and pay the $20. If you just pay the $20, you can prepare somebody's taxes. Okay? That's why it's so important, viewers, for you to do your due diligence on who you will allow to prepare your taxes. Because anybody can prepare your taxes if they pay the $20 for a P10, okay? But the good news is, you know about Landon Perkins, that he's a licensed tax accountant, school educated, knowledgeable of the tax laws and the tax code. Our company has been involved since 2012, and we're still going in present, 2012 through present, okay? Please pray about who you choose to prepare your taxes. Pray about who you choose to put in front of your tax financials and your private information, your social security cards, your bank accounts. People are malicious and vulgar, okay? So you do your due diligence because it's up to you. It's your decision, okay? So you're able to itemize a new tax deduction. It is called the auto loan insurance. Interest. The auto loan interest. So you buying a new car, you finally got it, but you got a lot of interest on it. Well, Donald Trump said, hey, under my tax plan, you can write that off. I mean, that's something y'all should be happy for. Y'all should be happy about that. Now, let's talk about business owners. We got to talk about business owners because business owners is what's carrying the economy. Man, business is what I specialize in. We just got put into the Hall of Fame from the Dallas Award Program for Business Services, Income Taxation, and Tax Preparation. Okay? We cater to the self-employed. So I'm excited to talk about this portion of Donald Trump's new tax plan. And keep in mind, Donald Trump is a business owner himself, right? So let me see. Donald Trump is a business owner himself, so he knows. So I wrote LLCs on the board for a reason, because LLCs is typically what people go after. They seek a LLC, and seeking the LLC is the right thing to do, but a lot of people do it improperly. Okay, the IRS states that if you are an LLC only, single member, partner, it doesn't matter. You are looked at as a sole proprietor in the IRS eyes, which means that you will be taxed as an individual. This is why your business taxes is filed on a Schedule C connected with your W-2 because it's looked at as a sole proprietor, it's looked at as an individual. So when you're taxed as an individual, now you're being taxed on the individual tax bracket. Okay? This is why you pay so much in taxes. This is why you got to hunt down $5 million in expenses so you don't have to owe the IRS. This is why you need $1 million expenses because your business income is being taxed as an individual. Okay? It's being taxed as an individual, meaning that the IRS, that's what matters, how the IRS view you. The IRS view you as a sole proprietor, even if you're an LLC. What I mean by sole proprietor, someone who just making money for themselves, okay? You'll be no different from your next door neighbor selling pies out of their refrigerator with no EIN, with no DBA. You'll be taxed the exact same way, okay? This is when you hunt down LLCs improperly, okay? So what I want to do is show you the truth about Donald Trump's new tax plan when it comes to business. Now, in Donald Trump's new tax plan, when you do your LLC the correct way, meaning that, you know what, I want to turn my LLC into an S Corp. You know what, I want to turn my LLC into a C Corp. You see that? You know what, forget that. I don't want that. Give me a trust fund. You know what? Yeah, give me that. Give me a trust. You know what? Now, give me a nonprofit organization. You see that? All these different ways you can run a business other than nonprofit, these are the ways that really change your tax liability. Okay? And when you are an LLC and you're taxed as a corporation, now you no longer tax on the individual tax bracket, which is all the way up to 37%, by the way. All the way up to 37%. Because you're being taxed as an individual, which means that that particular business income have to still pay Social Security, still pay Medicare. Now, in business, you still have to do that as well, but you're being taxed as an individual in that aspect, okay? On the Donald Trump tax plan, keep in mind that when you are a LLC, but your entity is classified as a corporation, now you are under what's called the corporation tax bracket, tax rate. All right. The corporation tax rate is 21%. That's what it is right now. So just off the bat alone, even before we get into Donald Trump tax plan, you already have 37 minus 21% already. What's that, 16%? You already have a 16% tax deduction just by changing your LLC to a corporation, okay? And only specialized people like myself and other accountants who are licensed, who didn't pay $19 to get a P10 so they can do your taxes. No, you have to really know the laws and know exactly what you're doing by schooling, by trade, by education, by self-knowledge. You really have to know the truth of the LLCs and how it's structured and how to save money on your taxes, okay? So by incorporating your LLC to an S corp or a C corp, now you're under 21% tax bracket. And this was originally given by Donald Trump in his first term. Now watch this. If that ain't better, let me show you the money, business owners. I'm here to show you the money, business owners. Business owners, if you are a LLC and you want to be taxed as a corporation, and your business is now a corporation. Maybe you came to me and I assisted you with changing your LLC to a corporation, putting you on the right path for this very moment. I've been screaming for over a decade to own something. I've been screaming to you guys for over a decade. Own something, own something, own something. And now that we own something, we incorporated, Now the corporate tax rate is 21%. Now on the Donald Trump tax plan, Donald Trump said, you know what? I'm gonna drop it even lower. Donald, Mr. Donald Trump, our president, and a lot of people don't like it, but hey, it is what it is. The Bible says to pray for your leaders. That's what it says. Donald Trump, under his new tax plan, and like I said, the Republicans won the presidency. The Republicans won the House of Representatives. The Republicans won the Senate. The Republicans has took over Congress. All right. So 9 times out of 10, this tax plan will be approved. Okay. Watch this. Now your LLC, which is a corporation, because you came to me and I switched over your entity for it. And if you have an LLC and you're not a corporation, inbox me so we can set an appointment up so we can get that taken care of instantaneously so you can be a part of this tax deduction here. This is going to save you money. Donald Trump said, you know what, our corporations, I'm going to drop you down even lower. 20% all the way to 15%. All the way down to 15%. If you're a business owner, you should be jumping for joy. You should be jumping for joy. Let me make it make better sense. With the individual tax bracket, the first individual tax bracket is $12,000. $12,000 at, I think it's 10%. I gotta look it up. At 10% is $12,000. Keep in mind there are 7 tiers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 tiers, and that last tier is 37% for the individual tax bracket, and it's around $600K. All right. So in between 10% and 37% will be the way your LLC is taxed, because you're taxed on the individual tax bracket, ITB. All right. But when you are a corporation under Donald Trump's tax plan, no, we're not being taxed that way. We already at 21%, which is already better than the individual. But Donald Trump said in his new tax agenda, I'm going to reduce it even more from 20% all the way down to 15%. That will put you right here. That should be, you should jump for joy. If you have an LLC or you have a DBA, okay, and you wanna know what? You ready to start taking your business serious, and you want to take advantage of the tax plan by the presidents every 4 years. Okay, you got to zone in on the tax plan to understand how it can affect you and your business or you and your family. Okay, this is so important. Your LLC must be taxed as a corporation. Your LLC needs to be a corp, not a sole proprietor. And I can assist you with that. Inbox me, email me, go to our business page, go to our website, book your appointment, or just simply inbox me on Facebook, and we'll make sure I get you taken care of. Let's see. Toshiba, Tobias said, Tobias says, so should the people that work for those corporations? I don't really understand what you're saying, Crabtree, but re-put it on there, then we'll go from there. So let's continue to recap. Donald Trump's new tax plan. The first thing I want to mention is the child tax credit, the CTC. Remember, the child tax credit, you have to qualify for the child tax credit, the dependent has to be your kid. And watch this, they have to be 16 years old or younger between January 1st and December 31st of 2024. If by any day they turn 17 between January 1st and December 31st, that person no longer qualifies for the child tax credit. Okay? So it wasn't your accountant who did something where you're not getting the same amount of money you got back last year. No. It's that your child has got older and they no longer qualify for the child tax credit. Okay, and that child tax credit last year was up to $2,000. Under Donald Trump's tax plan, that's up to 5 stacks, 5 G's. This upcoming tax season, we should be looking at $15,000 to $25,000 tax refunds. Okay, without people doing things malicious, doing things fictitious, fabricating wages so that way you can get a tax refund. You stay away from people like that, okay? Because you are ultimately held accountable for your own tax return, okay? So you do your due diligence and you choose the correct accountant or tax preparer or CPA or whatever direction you want to go, you choose the correct one, okay? Because they can go online and pay just 20 bucks and they can have license to prepare your taxes with no education, with no schooling, with no knowledge of the tax laws, with nothing, no experience, no nothing, zero. Okay? Now, let's talk about this other one. In 2017, well, I tell you what, let's go here. All right? This is called SALT. Okay? Now, when it comes to SALT, this is the deductions or itemization, okay? So we're just gonna put deductions. So I don't want to confuse you. Deductions when it comes to your filing status. So I don't want to confuse you. Now watch this. Right now there's a cap. On the Donald Trump's tax plan, there's no cap. The write-offs are unlimited. We're just gonna write off. We're gonna write off until we can't write off no more when it comes to itemized deductions. Okay. And also in 2017, Donald Trump did the extension of Tax Cut and Job Acts. And that's set to end in 2025. But I'm pretty sure Donald Trump is going to extend it because he's the one that put it into the law and it's been working. And he won president. And I'm pretty sure he's going to extend what he put into law in 2017 permanently. Okay. So this is just a quick preliminary video of what to expect for Donald Trump's tax plan, okay? And there's much more. I'm not gonna cram everything on this one video. I'm gonna do another one as well, going into more deeper detail about business, about what else to come. But the main thing I want y'all to remember this child tax credit. Right now, it's at $2,000, right? Donald Trump, if it get approved through the seats of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate, man, we're looking at $5,000 per kid. If you got 3 kids, that's an automatic $15,000. Period. That's just automatic. Automatic. Just think what you can do with an additional $15,000 on your 3 kids. Stop selling your kids. Ain't no need to sell your kids now. You're going to get the $5,000 tax credit. Not to mention the earned income credit, what's called the EIC. I'll talk about that in my next video, okay? I'm gonna need a whole video alone for the earned income credit, all right? All right, remember to go to our website, schedule an appointment with me, inbox me. So first we can get your LLC incorporated. That's the first thing. Or you're gonna continue to be taxed as an individual, meaning that your tax is gonna be filed with your personal taxes on a Form 1040. You're a business owner, you're a corporation. That's what you are. And you need to be taxed as such, meaning that you're taxed lower, way lower than an individual, which means you save money. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to trust in Jesus Christ. Keep your faith in the blood of Christ. Until next time.